Hey everyone, it's Bell Canto, and for today's video, I thought I would go over my favorite books of 2021. So I would say, let me check. I'd say about half of these books were published this year, which is exciting, and a few are published from later on. One is from the 90s, but it's very popular right now, and one is from maybe last year or 2 years ago. But let me just go over all the books that were my favorite of 2021. This is no in particular order yet. I'll do my ranking in a little bit. So here is A Duke Worth Fighting For by Christina Britton. This is a second chance romance that involves a widow. It's a historical romance. Really, really sweet. Had some good spice. Highly recommend. The next is When You Wish Upon a Duke by Charis Michaels. This is kind of a fairy tale retelling. It doesn't have magical elements, but it has the attitudes of characters from fairy tales, which is fun. And so we have Isabel Tinker, who is like an archetype for Tinkerbell, and Jason North Beckett, the Duke of Northumberland. He isn't an archetype for Hook, but just this wonderful hero. Next we have An Offer from a Gentleman. This is a Bridgerton book. It's the third in the series. It is the romance of Benedict, who is the second sibling in the Bridgerton siblings, and Sophie Beckett. This, as you can see from the cover, is sort of a retelling or trope of Cinderella. Next I have the first Bridgerton book, which is The Duke and I. This is Daphne's romance and Simon the Duke of Hastings. Next, I have The Princess Stakes. What a beautiful cover. This is by Amalie Howard. The Bridgerton books are by Julia Quinn, and I did the other authors as well. So this is by Amalie Howard, and it's The Princess Stakes. We have Princess Sarani Rao, and we have, what is his name? Captain Riston Huntley. This is an historical romance. It's not a pirate romance, but it does have a good bit that takes part on a ship. Very adventurous. And the last book is a contemporary romance, and this is The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloane. This is one of those books where it's very spicy. I wouldn't call it erotica. I want to do a video on that and also do some research. Is erotica only when it's like BDSM and that sort of stuff, or is it just the nature of the spice? But this is The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloane. So doing my ranking of the series, so hard. All of these books are over 5. They're rated 5 stars, but they're more than 5 stars. These are all my favorites. So I don't know if I really can do an honest ranking of this one is the best and this one's a little bit lower because, you know, whatever. But, I mean, all these books. If I was to pick one that was my favorite of all these, honestly, it's a 6-way tie. But I would say my number one, which is a little funky because it wasn't my favorite in the series, but my number one book of 2021 would probably be The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. And I would say the reason why it's number one is I read the entire series, the entire Bridgerton series, and loved every book. Every book got a 5-star, 2 of which were more of a 3 or a 4. But I give it 5 because it introduced me to wonderful characters, and I love the idea of the siblings, and you get little peeks of the siblings in the future with how the books roll and also with the epilogues. But yes, this is my favorite book of 2021. This is The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. I would say my second favorite book of 2021 was When You Wish Upon a Duke by Charis Michaels. I just love the romance of this story, and I love that Isabel felt that she wasn't worth what she wasn't worth. I can't figure out how to say it. Isabel didn't understand her worth, but through the love of North, she started to know that she was worth more than she thought. So I know that's a little confusing. I'm a little confused by how I speak sometimes. But I loved Isabel. She was a really strong character, and you find out some really sad things that happened to her, and one of them involve a man named Peter, who's basically Peter Pan. And if you know the story of Peter Pan, you know, Tinkerbell was always sort of in love with Peter, and he was like, oh, you're great. But I mean, she was a little tiny fairy in the book and play, and in this she's a woman. And she's not an actual fairy, but you know, you get all the magic of a romance and the magic of a special kiss. But oh, I love this story. Yeah, I know this is book 2. I do not believe you have to read the series in order. This is book 2, and book 1 is, I want to say A Duke a Day Keeps the Devil Away, but no, that's not right. It's A Duchess a Day. A Duchess a Day, and that is a retelling of Snow White, I believe. And I will be reading that in 2022. Hard to believe it's going to be 22. I don't know about you, but it's hard to believe it's 22. But, yes, I love this story. Love the romance, and I think everyone should read this book. I know a lot of people have read Bridgerton, or have read Bridgerton already. So if you're looking for a book to start 2022 with, I would pick up When You Wish Upon a Duke. I loved it. Oh, goodness. For number 3, I would say An Offer from a Gentleman by Julia Quinn. I absolutely loved the Cinderella trope. The Little Mermaid is my favorite fairy tale. I have mermaids all over my room, all over my life. And, but Cinderella, there's just something magical, literally, about being able to be transformed and be seen as not just beautiful, but seen and special and loved. And I just love this. This was rated. This is my favorite Bridgerton book, but my favorite book was The Duke and I, because it started the love of the series. But this was my favorite book of the Bridgerton series, and I don't want to give away spoilers, but it's Benedict's story, just so good. Love it. Next, I would say The Princess Stakes by Amalie Howard. This had second chance romance, also enemies to lovers. They were once basically lovers to lovers, but they become enemies to lovers and then lovers to lovers again. And had a lot of adventure. It starts off with Princess Serani is basically someone is out to kill her. I think her father was either killed or her uncle, but someone's trying to take over her family's throne. So she basically has to sneak off out of India to go to England, and the captain of the ship is Riston, who was basically her one true love about 10 years ago, and they basically hate each other, and then they find out there's a big misunderstanding, and so good. Highly recommend this. Also love that this is inclusive. We have a Pacific Indian princess and a British duke, I believe, and just love it. I love inclusivity. I love this cover. It's just so beautiful. When I actually got this, my mom bought it for me at Walmart, and she FaceTimed me when she's at Walmart to show me the romances. I think I was sick or something, and she was like, do you see anyone? I was like, I want that one. I want that one. Because this cover, I was like, I want to read it. And I do judge books by their covers, and this is a beautiful cover. It was a beautiful book. So highly recommend The Princess Stakes by Amalie Howard. Next, I would say I loved A Duke Worth Fighting For by Christina Britton. Just, so sweet. I did a review. I think I've done a review on I've done a review on all these books except for the first 2 Bridgertons, because I didn't have my channel back then. But I did a review on this one, as well as the Michaels and Howard and Pool Boy. But, oh my goodness. Wonderful. Such a sweet romance. I love that it was second chance romance. I love that it was a widow romance. I read unintentionally, 4 widow romances back to back to back to back. It was crazy. I didn't intend that, but I didn't know this was a widow romance. And then I knew Francesca's was a widow romance, but then I had 2 other ones. I was like, what in the world? So I love the widow aspect because you have to put yourself in a historical mindset, I think, sometimes to appreciate some of the spice and tension and forbiddenness. You know, back then you couldn't be like, you know, if you're a young widow, it wasn't like get your high heels and try to make it work. You know, try to go out there. It was like, well, that didn't work out for you. Would you like to do some embroidery for the rest of your life? So you have to sort of take historical knowledge with your historical romances, I think. I don't know. But love the story, love the romance, really sweet. The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloane. Was it my spiciest book of 2021? Yes. Was it good spice? Yes. I loved that this was a very spicy novel, but it was well written. Sometimes you get a book with a lot of spice and you don't get a lot of plot. You get a lot of other stuff, but you don't get a good storyline. You don't get good character developments. With this, I got plot. I got wonderful characters. I absolutely loved Erica and Troy. And just spicy as the chili pepper. And this was forbidden because it's she's an older woman. She's in her 40s, and Troy is like 22, 25, something like that. And he is the son of her best friend. Absolutely loved the story. I definitely want to read more by Nikki Sloane. This is also a book in a series, and I couldn't tell it was in a series. I think it's book 2, so it wasn't like a continuation of anything, but love the story, and I want to read more Nikki Sloane in 2022. So yes, these were all of my favorite books of, ooh, ow, that hurts, of 2021. I'm a historical romance lover, so that's what my majority is, and I love The Pool Boy, very good. If I was to add an honorable mention, I would say It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey as my extra pick for my favorite. I guess the one thing, well, I don't think I need to go in that, but yes, if I was to add one more, I would say Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. But these were my favorites. If I'm correct, I would say that these 3 were published in 2021. So that's kind of cool that I had books that were my favorite and they're published this year. So that's When You Wish Upon a Duke by Charis Michaels, The Princess Stakes by Amalie Howard, and A Duke Worth Fighting For by Christina Britton. This was published, The Pool Boy I'm talking about, 2020, so fairly new. And the Bridgerton books were 90s/early 2000s. But yes, those were my favorite books of 2021. What were your favorite books of 2021? Let me know down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, as well as comment. And I will see you soon for another video. This ends my Vlogmas videos. So yeah, I hope to see y'all very soon. I'm going to take a little break just because I posted 24 videos in 24 days. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of reading. It's been a lot of prep, a lot of work, and I hope it shows. I worked really hard. I love YouTube, and I really wanted to start a YouTube channel. That was one of my New Year's resolutions for 2021, was to start a YouTube channel, and I did it. I can't believe it. And I wanted to do a Vlogmas because I don't know, I feel like that's what YouTubers do. And so I'm really proud of myself for getting 24 videos up in 24 days. I didn't film everything day by day by day, but I've worked really hard and I'm really proud of myself for doing it. So hopefully that shows. I hope you'll have a great holiday season. I hope to do at least one more video before New Year's, but I'm going to do a little bit of a slower posting just because it's been a lot, but I've had so much fun. And I hope you've had some wonderful reads of 2021. And I hope you have great books planned for 2022. I know I do. I'm very excited. And I'll see y'all soon. Bye, everyone.